Welcome to The Lion Within Us, podcast serving Christian men who are hungry to be the leaders God intends you to be. I'm your host, Chris Granger. Let's jump in. All right, guys, this is your Fun Friday member spotlight. Let's get right into it. So the scripture of the week this week has been Proverbs 15:22, and that verse says, "Without consultation, plans are frustrated, but with many counselors, they succeed." So I took some time to unpack that verse at length, fellas. Go back 2 podcasts in your feed to the spiritual kickoff. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. We got our brother Don Ross on this week as well. And then, fellas, as a reminder, we do the daily spiritual kickoff at the Lion Within Us. I mean, this is Monday through Friday. We do it. It's a great way to just get plugged in and get encouraged. Come along with a bunch of other brothers in Christ, and hopefully you'll be encouraged. So that's the daily spiritual kickoff. Also has a weekly prayer call, guys, and I'm telling you, that prayer request area of the Lion is huge for us. So you need prayer, if you need just to be encouraged by fellow brothers in Christ, go check it out at thelionwithin.us. Okay. So I'm always looking forward to these member spotlights, guys, just because you get to see how awesome the guys are that are in the Lion. And for this one of our more unique members for sure. He's blessed me ever since I've known him. But I'm excited for you guys to get a chance to meet TR Lavespere. So TR, what is going on today, man? How's your day going so far?
Well, it's going good, man. Appreciate you having me on there.
Man, it's always exciting when I get a chance to chat with you, buddy. So, I mean, kind of give our listeners a little bit of your background, TR. I mean, particularly your career choice, because you're the first one of these I've ever met, man. So I always find interesting your stories.
Yeah. Well, I'm a towboat captain, so I run a 2-piece unit near about all over the country. I've been a little bit of everywhere, east and west and north and south, pretty much, pushing chemical barges on a towboat, roughly 50,000 barrels at a time of whatever particular product they have us carrying at the time.
Right. Now, how'd you get started in that field?
I had a cousin who done it. So my mom is from South Louisiana, around Dulac, and they do a lot of everything's got to do with a boat in South Louisiana. So I had a cousin who done well. Cousins and uncles and all that, they all had shrimp boats, oyster boats, or on a towboat. That's just what you did, like here in central Louisiana, you work at a plant or you do plumbing or construction or something like that. In South Louisiana, that's the way it is. You get on a boat somewhere.
Okay.
My family done it from on my mama's side, and I just got back connected with one of my cousins, and he got me on, and I started from entry level, deckhand, entry level, and worked my way up through the process, and ended up being a head captain. And there's a few steps that you do, school and everything else.
And I guess when you go out, I know just from our talks since we got to know each other, you go out for pretty long stints at a time, right?
Yeah. Now I work 28 and 28. I used to work 28 and 14 for years. One of our biggest jokes is like, teacher in the classroom always said, "Boy, you ain't ever gonna make no money staring out the window." Well, that's what I do. I make money staring out of a big window. Making bridges and all that.
Right. How hard is it to get used to that schedule, man? 28 on, 28 off.
The sleep schedule's tough,
Is it?
But just about the time you get settled in, it's time to either go home or go back to work, which I always pick on my wife. I said, "Well, it's time for me to go back home." It kind of makes her mad, but I mean, my home is 6 months in one place and 6 months in the other place.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure, man. I mean, I'm sure you've seen some incredible things on that boat. I know some of the pictures you share. To see God's handiwork, man. It's your office window is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's some of the good times, some of the things that you get to see where, you know, God shows up every morning or every evening, you know. Now, he also made weather, bad
Yeah.
weather, fog, wind,
Yeah.
rain, canes, you know. I rode
Yeah.
Hurricane Laura out on a towboat, 100 and something mile an hour winds, and it was just awesome, the power to see, and it's like, man, you know, God made this, you know,
Yeah.
good and the bad, you know,
So in a storm like that, what are you doing? Just kinda anchored down and just hoping on
hiding.
for the best?
We go and we try to get away from it the best we can,
Yeah.
and, they move us, try to move us out of the path of the storm
Uh-huh.
and get us to safety as best we can. Tie the barges up, hang on for the ride. That's pretty much
Oh
all you
my
can do.
oh,
But we
wow,
never
man.
lose electricity, you know? Never
Yeah,
have to worry about going 11, 12 days without any lights.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
right. Generate your power right there on the boat.
Yep.
That's
That's
cool,
it.
man. Well, man, tell us about your testimony. Like, so how about your walk with Christ? When did that start? And how did it lead you where you're at right now?
Well, I was raised in church, you know, of course, being in the Bible Belt in the South, you know, you see a lot of that. But, we went all the time, you know, uh, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, you know, we went all the time. But, so I was saved when I was about 10 years old at a Heaven's Gate, Hell's Flames drama, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just something about that, you know, God put it on my heart that, you know, hell was real, you know,
Yeah.
and that was
Forever's a
something
long time. That's right.
forever's a long time, you know. And I just didn't I knew that's not where I wanted to be at, you know. Now,
Mhm.
I'll say this, that it's been progressive sanctification for me throughout the
Mhm.
years. I haven't done it right, you know. I've been, you know, addicted to drugs and alcohol before, you know, coming up. I've first time I ever got arrested was I was 16 years old for possession, you know. So I struggled a lot throughout my life. I've done a lot wrong. Jail, rehab, drugs, alcohol, in and out, back and forth, you know. And then, you know, as you sort of grow up and get away from those things, you know, it became, you know, finding my identity in Christ, which is some of the things I struggle with is, you know, you get away from that type of life, but then you put your identity in stuff like your job, you know. Uh, I'm pretty good at what I do, being a towboat captain and stuff, you know, as far as the, you know, making a bridge and stuff like that. You're pretty proud of doing those things. And, you know, a
Sure.
lot of my identity lied in that, you know, and just in those things. And that was, I think, like I say, it's been progressive sanctification because I've had to learn a lot throughout, and I'm still not where I would like to be. You know, I know Joby says it all the time about how, you know, look, don't you think you should be a lot further along than what you are? Well, I feel like that a lot sometimes, you know. Um, I I still struggle with a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
But like God has never left me throughout any the situations that I've ever been. There's always been these little God winks, right? Like there's
Mhm.
always been, you know, I've always had faith, you know, that
Yeah.
God was still there and still with me, you know. Even it may be like, God, get me out of this, you know,
Right.
sometimes. But then, you know, you go home and be like, okay, now that you got me out of it, you know, we maybe those things I said, I was, you know, a little scared or whatever. So
Sure.
then you would revert back in some of the same old ways and old habits and things, you know.
Yeah.
I think I think God shakes us up sometimes, you know? I just last year, I had a very, uh, difficult time with marriage and everything
Mhm.
else. I mean, some of the struggles I went through, alcohol, marriage, really was getting back to some of my older ways, and I was like, "I just can't do that," you know?
Yeah.
I can't,
Mhm.
you know? So on a towboat, we have a designated channel that we gotta stay in.
Okay.
We run out that channel, we're gonna run aground, you know,
Mhm.
beach to what we call beach to tow or beach to boat, and then we're stuck, right? But
Right.
so when we're running down the middle of this channel, everything's nice and smooth and you're where you're supposed to be. When you get off course and you start driving in the shallow water, the boat shakes and rattles and, you know, it kind of jumps a little bit. There's a warning, you know. That's how kind of like how I see God sometimes is like, you know, here I am running in this shallow water about to run aground, and there's that warning, I think God meets us there sometimes, with
Yeah.
this warning, you got to get back in the channel. You got to get back in the deeper water because if you look behind you, if you look at the wheel wash behind you when you in that deep water, it's all nice and pretty and clean. Everything's working right. When you get over there in that shallow water, it's stirring up a bunch of mud and it gets all nasty and dirty and the boat don't want to react and everything else. And I think
Yeah.
that's the way God is with us sometimes. The Bible speaks a lot about being in the mire and the dirt and the nasty. And when we when we get out of his will or when we start to run aground, sometimes he's got to shake us up a little bit. I think that's what God was doing last year. Was uh, rattling my bones, a little bit.
Mhm. It sounds like he got your attention though.
Oh yeah, my my marriage is better for it now. Uh, which we've done some counseling and we've done back in church again, reading our Bibles. So that's what I think that's what it boils down to, and that's what uh, has to happen. And if not, you're just not gonna be successful in your
Yeah.
marriage or anything.
Yeah, and your marriage in particular, man. I mean, you have that variable of 28 on, 28 off, so you guys have had to learn how to navigate that, you being there, you not being there, and still, coming together as husband and wife in decisions and stuff. So I'm sure that's been a learning curve.
Yeah, and she's been with me since I was a deckhand, so like
Okay.
she knew what she was getting into. So when
Yeah.
I met her, I met her and then I left for 90 days. So we met and then I took off for 90 days. I said, well, if she's there in 90 days, then
Yeah.
maybe I'll pursue it a little
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
And she stayed. We spent 90 days on the phone talking and getting to know each other before we actually went out on our first date, really.
Yeah.
Mm. So we sort of knew each other, but I come home for a week and went back for like 84 more days, you know. Yeah. And so when I was a deckhand, I used to ride a lot, and I was like, well, you know, if she can outlast this, then she can outlast
Yeah.
anything. But you're right. There's been some learning curves and some struggles about, you know, being gone. I mean, sometimes she has to be the plumber or she has to be the gardener. You know, I mean, you can't hire everything out. You know,
Right.
I
Right.
mean, some of the things that I take care of when I'm here, she has to take care of, not in not including, my son and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Well, I mean, you guys have come a long way for sure. I mean, and seeing you guys at couples night that we have, I mean, it's always just warms my heart because you guys, even if you're on the boat A lot of time you're on the call, and so is your wife. I just think that's so cool that you guys are prioritizing, your marriage because even one's gonna do all he can to destroy it, but you're fighting back.
Well, we sat with the devil. We let the devil sit with us in our house
Mm,
in the middle of our living room. And then we throw our hands up in there and say, "Well, what's going on?
yeah,
Why's our marriage the way our marriage is?" And we had to kick that joker out, man. We had,
yeah,
we had to get him out of here. And
yeah,
I think that's the only thing. That's what there's no way the things that me and her has done to each other, the infidelity and all of that, there's no way that you come back from that. Everything, everything everybody tells you, there's no way that you can come back from that.
yeah,
But only with God. God can. God can
right,
fix them relationships. God can fix them drug addictions. God can fix that alcohol, you know, if you let him. That's the biggest thing is letting him. And
yeah,
sometimes you just don't want to, you know.
that's right,
And
that's
sometimes you
right,
don't want to give it up,
yeah,
right?
right,
I mean,
yeah,
sometimes uh temptation is tempting, right? And
that's
it's
right,
good.
man, yeah,
It's fun, but
yeah,
that ain't you can't live that way, you know?
yeah, you're not having fun sinning, you're doing it wrong. So, I mean, that's
Yeah, exactly.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you find the lion to you? I'm trying to remember back. How'd you even get connected with us, bud?
So, I used to listen to this podcast with Ryan Mickler all the time, Order of Man,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
you was with him, or he
Yep,
was with you, or
yep.
vice whatever, however it was. That's how I ended up and
Oh, okay.
the podcast was out. It was just so I got connected with the Lion in, like, 23, the first time.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna end up telling part of this story about the whole
Okay.
disconnect also, but,
Sure.
um, I ended up getting connected in September of 23
Yeah,
with the Lion because of the other podcast that I listened to, and then I started listening to your podcast going to work. So I was working in Wood River, Illinois, so well, we'd crew change sometimes in Wood River, Illinois. It's like a 13-hour drive for me, and, like, I would binge the podcast, you know, listen to all just put them on play and let them go for 13 hours, back and forth. Sometimes I'd make a crew change. Every once in a while, I'd make one in Baton Rouge or something, but most time they was in Wood River, and I would listen to them, and I was like, "Well, let me check this guy out, see what's about." So I got connected with you, and I remember you sent me that little sign with my name on it,
yeah, yeah.
and said, this is real or whatever. I said, no way. This guy can't be serious, right? you know, and sure enough, so I listened to the video and I was like, dude, what? Why? How could somebody have that much attention? To
Right.
them. So I got connected with that and started with just daily spiritual care. Well, Lions Den, got in the
Yeah.
den, and man, I connected with a couple guys. Lucas being one of them, one of the first one. Adam, Rushing, I connected with a few of them, and I mean they just poured into me at that point. And I remember times you asked me about the mastermind, getting in the mastermind. And I think that was one of the first masterminds we've ever had. And
Yeah.
I never would just pull the trigger on it, don't have time or whatever it was.
Right.
Mostly for me, it was like, man, there's no way I can do that. I'm on a towboat. I'm at home. I'm busy. You know, I just can't commit to that. And I want it to be all in, full in, and then
Yeah.
you know that's part of the whole identity crisis, I guess you could say, with what the enemy tells me I am, you know, about no, you're not worth getting into that. You're not, you're you're not as sanctified as these guys or whatever.
Uh,
You know,
uh-huh.
the enemy will lie to you about 18 different ways, and you'll believe every one of them, you
That's
know,
right.
because he knows you just as well as, you know you, you know?
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh.
that's how he can defeat you.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't connect then, you know? It wasn't
Right.
till I actually got away from the line because of the problems in my marriage and the problems with me and drinking. I just felt like it just wasn't like I wasn't good enough to be in that type of stuff. I wasn't. And, with the problems I had in my marriage, I was kind of mad at God, you know. How how can I be in church reading my Bible and doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing, and then this is what shows up in my marriage? But I
Uh-huh.
wasn't being intentional about my marriage, or I wasn't being real intentional about God also
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
same time, you know. So I deleted it. I got
Yeah.
away from y'all. And I remember you kept, "Hey man, how are you doing?" Even though I wasn't a part of the platform or anything like that. "Hey man, how are you doing?" And then I got on the mastermind, and it's been amazing about these guys pouring into you. And you get kinda lucky because I just got off a mastermind meeting, so I'm still pretty
Ah,
hyped up about the mastermind meeting. I always do after every mastermind meeting, you always, uh, you know, go out ready to attack hell with a water pistol.
that's right.
But these guys, they pour into you all the time through text or the platform or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can come to them with anything, and a lot of the same struggles that they have, that I thought I was alone on, I have some of the same struggles, and I was like, "Well, maybe I'm just normal." You know,
Yeah.
the enemy will try to tell you that you're worthless, that you shouldn't be. If you was really saved, then you wouldn't be having these problems, or you wouldn't be, you wouldn't want to drink, or you wouldn't want to cheat on your wife if you was really saved. But that's just all lies from the enemy. You know,
Yeah.
he's just trying to beat you up.
Yeah. That's right. What do you think's been the biggest impact for you being in that mastermind group?
I think it's just how close you get with a group of guys that you know it's hard to connect with anyone on a 28 and 28-day schedule,
Right.
including family, sometimes 'cause you're here one day, gone another. So being able to connect with these guys and have them just a text message or a phone call away, I know uh, s- when you want to give up, you know, or you don't want to do the things, then there's always somebody that seems like comes up with something that's like, "Dang, I I'm in the same fight as they're in, We're
Right.
we're doing the same things." And then you get close to these guys, you get real tight with them, spiritually, and
Yeah.
they're great friends now.
Yeah. 100%, man. I know your group in particular, you guys are so tight knit and, you can't like try to force that. It just has to kind of build on its own and it takes time and it takes trust and it takes vulnerability, but you guys have just leaned in and that's been the coolest thing, at least from my feedback from what I'm hearing from all the guys, because I mean that's not something you can just go build and design. It's like, okay, this is going to work now. Now it takes finding the right guys and patience, and you guys are you're a testament of the power of it, man. So I'm so thankful that you're a part of it for sure.
Yeah, we're tight as 3 pounds of boudin and a 1 pound casing.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Well, I mean, from the mastermind to the podcast to the line, all the stuff we try to do to walk, just to help guys that are walk. I mean, how has it impacted your own discipleship journey? Just the different things from the line, Tr.
Well, like I say, so my Christianity for me, like I knew all the answers, right? I was an
Mhm.
RA growing up. I did Bible drill. I sung in the church. I did all the things. I know all the answers, you know?
Right.
And so my relationship with God was like a roller coaster, up and down. And sometimes I feel like it still is. But whereas I wanted to give up before, I don't as much anymore when it comes to these guys. You can lean in on on the line and be like, hey man, but the prayer request board,
Mhm.
dump something in the prayer request, and you can just feel it, I
Yeah.
mean, guys are legit.
Yeah.
People are pouring into you, you know, and you know, I understand it's not quite all about that, but community is important.
Mhm.
Especially, you can't fight the devil in the dark. You
Yeah.
know, you can't. And sometimes, look, my flashlight batteries are burnt out, and I'm crawling around on the floor looking for batteries, and there ain't none. But these guys, they got flashlights, and they running
Mhm.
around helping you find batteries, That's the way it
That's
is
right.
sometimes, they'll hold the light when you can't, you know? They'll hold you up when you can't. When you burn out or tired or whatever, there's always something, you know? I know, me and a guy on there, Peyton, we talk a lot and we send music back and forth to each other. And
Yeah.
sometimes just at the right moment, it's just that God saying, it's like, I'm about to tear it all down. And then get this get this song will pop in, and he'll text me and be like, look, I was just thinking about this today. What you think about this? And I'll be like, man, how can you be mad now? You know, it's like just these great run through the wall songs, like just pour
Yep.
into you. I mean, so I've connected with a lot of these guys on here, and it's been great to have that, where you don't isolate yourself, especially for somebody who struggles with addictions and stuff like that. The first thing you want to do is go isolate yourself because you don't want to. If you talk to anybody and tell them how you feel, then that'll keep you from the addiction, right? And the only thing you want is the addiction. You
Yeah.
wanna pour into that addiction, but you say you don't want it, but you go isolate yourself and let the devil beat you up, and then next thing you know, you rationalize and you right back in that full-blown addiction again until you look up and say, "How'd I get here?
That's right.
Why why am I in this jail again?" You know?
Mhm.
"Why am I in this rehab again?" You know?
Right. Right. Well, brother, what I'm sure there's guys listening that that aren't in the lines then, they're not in a mastermind, and maybe they obviously they listen to the podcast and they're reading our stuff on the Bible app, and guys moving in a mighty way in these different areas, but still sometimes how guys are, they're just hesitant. I mean, they just they think it ain't real or something like that. For the guy who's on the fence right now, TR, for taking any step forward with us, what would be your encouragement to that guy?
Well, I just say, like I said before, don't fight the devil in the dark. You may be struggling or whatever it is. Hey, we have all the same problems. We got wives and kids and jobs and everything else. I've been really struggling at work here lately, and these guys on the mastermind have poured into that, prayed for me, and it's helped. Whereas in the past, I might have blew up, not have no job no more. You know, but you know, your testimony means something, whether you think so or not. You know, Bible says they overcome them by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. You know, every time your testimony comes up, you beat the devil down just a little bit more. These podcasts right here, and you talking to these guys, and you letting us say what we go through,
Mhm.
the devil gets beat up a little bit more every single time. He gets punched in the mouth a little bit more, and I believe that. You know,
Yeah.
where we pour in every single day, and it don't matter at what hour or what time or whatever. I remember you for an instance when I was going through all that stuff last year, you know, I called you on the phone. You picked up and immediately just started praying for me, you know. And I was I was so messed up in that situation. I didn't know where to
Yeah.
turn. I was like a
Yeah.
old uh, uh three-legged cat trying to cover his poop on a frozen pond. That's how messed up I was. It was bad. So,
Yeah.
but that prayer and that pouring into people and, you know,
Yeah.
that's what it's about. Camaraderie. The guys on here that's legitimate.
Right.
It's a little bit different than church.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Well, it's different because, I mean, guys they're just, there's no facade put up, man. I mean, we come in with the stuff we're really dealing with, and I don't see anybody condemning anybody. I mean, if we ever do see somebody condemning somebody, they won't be in the line very long.
Yeah. Well, that
We'll
was one of
move.
the first things, one of the first ever um, Bible studies I went to. I was kind of like, well, I do a lot of things that I probably shouldn't be doing, and one of the very first verses that was poured into me was, Romans 8:1. Therefore, there's no condemnation for the ones that are in Christ Jesus. And look, I had to like pour into that verse and like really look into it because I condemn myself all the time. I'm down. I'm out. That ain't. I shouldn't be. You know, or my testimony's not worthy, or well, just here not too long ago you was doing this or doing that, so your testimony don't mean anything. But that's not true. No matter where you at in your life or how long it's been, your testimony matters. You know,
That's right. That's
that
right.
identity in God matters. Listen to what he says and not what the devil tells you are, you know.
Got that right, brother. Well, man, you've been a blessing to us. You definitely have one of the coolest jobs on the planet, as far as I'm concerned, and
Yeah.
your stories are great. So, I mean, I just want to say thank you again, man, for all you've done. The wisdom you bring to the lion, and just for the encouragement you are to me. And yeah, man. Any final thoughts before we go to our final parts of this podcast today?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, guys, so thankful again for TR. Again, our book of the week is How to Be a Man, with Don Ross. So go check that out. And I got a couple of dad jokes on to run by you, TR, see which one lands for you, man. So if you're ready for them, I'm gonna fire away with them. Okay.
Oh yeah, I love these dad jokes. I tell them my kids all the time in a group message, and they
There
like,
you go.
"Oh my goodness."
All right. So the first one this week, I got two for you. The first one is, why do people who live in Greece, hate waking up at dawn? Do you know why, TR?
No, I have no clue.
Well, that's because dawn is tough on Greece.
Yeah,
So there you go, man.
yeah.
Now, the second one is, what do you call a criminal that's landing an airplane? So a criminal that's landing an airplane.
Well,
It's condescending.
oh my goodness. I I think I like the Grease one, man.
You like the Grease one? All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that's TR's boat, guys. So you guys let us know which one you like best. A lot of people live in Greece, hate waking up at dawn. It's because dawn is tough on Greece. So that's number one. And number two is, what do you call a criminal landing an airplane? That's condescending. And guys, we put these TR tell you, we put these as a poll every Friday in the Lions Den. So we get to vote on them. We get to pick on the guys who vote wrong. I'm just kidding. But I got some guys, TR, they tell me that, like, before I vote, I run it by my wife to see which one. And then
Yeah.
based off her response, that's how I'm going to vote.
A lot of eye rolls I know
That's
around my
right.
house.
That's right. That's right. Hey, sometimes that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
So That's it. That's it. So, question of the week this week, guys, has been who speaks hard truth into your life with love and consistency? And TR's already talked about it. I mean, he's got those guys in the mastermind. He does that to other guys in the mastermind as well. So, if you don't have that, fellas, reach out. We love to talk to you and walk with you. And TR, man, just want to say thank you again for coming on, brother.
Yeah, I sure appreciate it. It's been fun.
All right, buddy. Well, guys, keep listening to The Lion. Keep sharing it out. TheLionWithin.us is all our resources, Daily SKO, Lions Den, Mastermind. Open the Bible app up, fellas. Search for The Lion Within Us. Follow us there. We got I think at this point, 60, 70-something plans on the Bible app. I mean, God just keeps blessing it there. So, yeah, check with us, fellas. We've got live events happening. We're trying to do more of that, and I'm trying to do more engagements with speaking. And so if you guys got a small group or a men's group, you need some help, just reach out to us at The Lion Within Us. We'd love to help you. So, guys, have a great day and just keep unleashing the lion within.
If you're tired of going at it alone, we understand. Every man needs wise counsel, but finding it can be quite the challenge. That's why we build our leadership masterminds. This isn't just more content, guys. It's real discipleship with a consistent rhythm, small cohorts of no more than 7 guys, honest hot seat sessions, and biblical counsel that turns good intentions into action. You'll get accountability, clarity, and a circle of brothers who will challenge you and cheer you on. We open up new options regularly, so there's room to find the right fit. It's not always easy, but it is worth it. The first step is simple. Take the Leadership Mastermind assessment. No pressure, no hype, just thoughtful questions to help you see where you are, where God is leading you, and whether this is a good option for your next step. Hey, if it's a fit, we're going to follow up with details. And if it's not, we'll point you to resources to help you keep growing. Either way, you move forward. So if you're ready to take the assessment, head over to thelionwithin.us/mastermind. So that's thelionwithin.us/mastermind to get moving today.